My husband died of a mysterious heart attack. That's the story people believe. The truth is quieter. It sits behind my teeth every time they call him a good man. If they know what I know, they would thank me. This story was inspired by a little girl who was almost abused in my home area. They buried him on a warm Saturday afternoon. The sun was shining the way it does when God wants to show off. People said it was a sign that heaven was happy to welcome him. They said he was a servant of the Lord. They said he died early because God takes his best first. I stood beside the coffin and listened. I kept my face soft and broken, the way a widow is expected to look. Inside, I felt nothing. My chest was empty, not heavy, not sad, just quiet, like someone had turned off a loud radio. People came to me in long lines. They held my hands. They hugged me. They cried on my shoulder. They said he had a pure heart. They said he loved children. They said he was a man who would never harm anyone. Every lie passed through their lips like sugar, sweet, easy and blind. I looked at their tears and wondered how many of them would still cry if they knew the real man they were burying. How many would still call him a servant of God if they knew what he did when no one was watching, if they knew how many girls he touched, how many he tried to touch, how many he scared into silence. If they knew I was the one who ended his life, they would not be calling him God's warrior. They would call me dangerous. They'd look at me with fear instead of pity. Funny thing though, fear would be more honest. But people love their own stories. They hold them tight and never let go. My job was simple. I let them believe whatever made them sleep at night. After the burial, someone placed a white rose in my hand. They said it was a symbol of purity, a symbol of the love we shared. I almost laughed. Purity? There was nothing pure about him. There was nothing pure about our marriage. There was nothing pure about the things he did behind his pastor's smile. Everyone loved that smile. Everyone trusted it. People said he had a gift. They said he could speak to souls. They said he was chosen. They were right about one thing. He was chosen. Chosen by me. For judgment. For silence. For an ending no doctor would question. But that part had not come yet. Back then, the world still saw him as a saint. Back then, I was still his loyal wife. Back then, I was still lying to myself. Back then, I still believed that loyalty was a holy thing, that defending your husband was the same as defending God. Before the whispers started, before the truth found me, before I learned that evil can pray loudly too. The first whisper reached me on an ordinary afternoon. I was sweeping the church compound, trying to look busy so no one would ask me why my husband was late for prayer meeting again. A neighbor walked in with her niece. The little girl stood behind her like she was hiding from the sun. The neighbor pulled me aside and lowered her voice. "My niece does not want to attend Sunday school anymore," she said. "She says something happened with your husband." My hands froze on the broom. I waited for the neighbor to explain. She only said the girl refused to talk. She looked scared whenever someone mentioned the church. I went home and asked him. He laughed. He said the girl was lying. He said she was seeking attention. He said children these days were dramatic. Guess who believed him? I did. Or maybe I pretended to. The second whisper came during a church event. A mother asked if she could speak to me privately. Her daughter, who used to run in the pastor's arms every Sunday, now cried when she saw him. Real fear, the kind that shakes the whole body. My mother said, "I don't know what happened, but this screams when he comes near." Again, I asked him. Again, he shrugged it away. He said the child had evil spirits. He said he should pray for her. He said I must be careful not to listen to the lies planted by jealous people. I defended him. Again, I said the mother misunderstood. I said her daughter needed guidance. I said my husband had a clean heart. I thought the mother would argue. She didn't. She just gave me a look, the kind of look that says that than words. She left the church 2 weeks later. People whispered that she was unstable. I let them think that it was easier than facing the truth. The third whisper came from my cousin. She told me a story about her friend's daughter, a story about a locked room, my husband standing too close, the girl running out before he touched her. My cousin asked me if I had ever noticed anything strange. I told her no. I said people love attacking men of God. I said the devil always targets pastors. She looked at me for a long moment, then said, I hope you're not defending something that will destroy you, my sister. I laughed out loud, too loud. I told her my husband would never do such a thing. I told her God sees everything and would never let a holy man fall like that. But that night, I stared at the ceiling and wondered why my heart felt heavy. The whispers continued, some quiet, some bold, some from children who refused to explain further, some from parents who looked confused and ashamed. Yet none of them went to the police. They did not want to challenge the pastor. They did not want to be blamed for lying about a man who prayed for them. People trust men who stand on stages with Bibles. They trust men who can quote verses from memory. They trust men who speak about heaven with confidence. No one wanted to imagine that he could be the kind of man who touched little girls. No one except the girls themselves. But girls that age rarely get believed, especially not over a pastor. I kept defending him, even when cracks started forming in my own chest. I told myself he was innocent. I told myself he was misunderstood. I told myself people were trying to pull him down because he was successful. But the truth kept cycling me like a shadow. The truth stood behind me whenever I smiled in church. The truth followed me home at night, crawled into my bed and whispered in my ear. Then the police call came, a real case, a real accusation. And this time, the girl did not stay silent. She spoke. Even in fear, she spoke. That was the moment the whisper turned into a scream inside my head, and that scream never stopped. It became the beginning of everything that came next. The morning he was arrested started like any other day. He left home early, humming a worship song. He always hummed when he felt powerful. He said the church needed him. He said God needed him. He said people were waiting for his guidance. I watched him live with his Bible tucked under his arm. The same Bible he used as a shield. The same Bible he used to hide behind. I did not know by evening I would see him behind bars. Around noon, my phone rang. An unknown number. When I picked it, an officer introduced himself. His voice was steady, almost calm. He asked if I could come to the station. Your husband has been arrested, he said. My stomach dropped. The world tilted. For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. Asked what he was arrested for. The officer replied with a slow breath. He is accused of essaying an 11-year-old girl. My mind went silent. And completely blank. No thoughts, no emotions, just emptiness. It felt like the whispers from all those years stood around me in a circle, staring at me without blinking. I went to the station. When I arrived, I found him sitting in a metal chair, as if he was waiting for tea. He did not look scared, not even embarrassed. He nodded at me like he had forgotten where he was. The officer explained the case. The girl had told her mother everything word for word. Her mother took her straight to the police before fear could swallow her story. The officer said the evidence was weak. No physical proof, no witness, only the girl's words. My husband leaned towards me. His voice was low. She came unto me, he whispered. Those 4 words cut something inside me. They slashed through whatever faith I still had in him. An 11-year-old girl came unto him as if she was the one who wanted it, as if he was the victim, as if she had the power, as if his hands were not the ones that reached first. He looked at me like he expected praise, like I was supposed to admire his courage for saying it. For the first time, I did not defend him. For the first time, something inside me said, this is who he truly is. But I still paid his bail. Not because I believed him, no, because I feared the shame of walking away. Divorce was a dirty word in my world. Divorce was failure. Divorce was judgment. People believed a woman without a husband was a woman without worth. So I took my monster home. That night while he slept, I stared at him in the darkness. I stared at the man I had protected for years, the man I had prayed for, the man I had covered with excuses, the man I had loved, and all I saw was a stranger who had children, one who uses God as a hiding place, a stranger who thought he could do anything and walk away free. And in that moment, something sharp woke up inside me, something cold, patient, something that had been waiting for this moment. I did not cry. I did not scream. I did not pray. I made my first plan. People think planning a murder looks like a movie, running in the rain, secret phone calls, maps on the wall. My plan was quieter than that. It lived in my head like a second heartbeat. After he came back from the police station, he walked around the house like he was untouchable. He slept well, he ate well, he joked with the church members on the phone. He told me he forgave the girl who lied about him. He said she needed prayers. Every time he opened his mouth, the plan sharpened. I started simple. I listened. I watched him. I learned his routine, the same way I used to learn his sermons. What time he took tea, how much sugar he liked, how often he reached for water at night, when he locked doors, when he showered, when he forgot to check things, when he trusted me the most. Trust. That was the poison before the poison. I didn't rush. I let him settle back into his old life. I let the church members tell him they were praying for him. I let his mother call him a survivor. I let him feel safe. And while he felt safe, I started testing things. I taught myself what not to do, what leaves a trace, what does not, what kills fast, what kills slow. I read quietly and I pretended I was looking for new recipes. I became a student of his habits. I served his food like before. Not even once did I look at him differently. That was important. Men like him smell fear and they smell guilt even more. And I needed him blind. I waited for the right moment, a night when he was relaxed, a night when the house was quiet, when no one expected to visit, a night where he touched my hand and thanked me for standing with him. I trusted the plan. Nothing loud, nothing messy, nothing that would make people ask too many questions. And the best part is, no one ever suspects a woman who cries softly